popping out the chat real quick and making sure my windows are all arranged here. Looks like we're live.
All right. See if I can pull up that stream.
Hello?
Hello. It's Avery.
Hello.
How's it going?
Yes,
Hello? Oh, whoa.
It's going good. How about you?
Awesome.
I think we're doing pretty well.
Good to have you with us. So,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, Andre got a job. Woo! But
Yeah.
unfortunately, that job conflicts directly with Squid School, which is a little bit less yay. So, we're having Avery on the show today. We're going to have Andre playing with us still, but we're introducing everybody to Avery so that we can all get to know him a little bit.
I'm just going to be lurking mostly, learning the ropes.
Perfect.
Yeah. I have not... I don't really play a lot of games like this, so I'm a complete noob. So it's like this
You'll
whole
fit
series
right
was
in.
made. Yeah, it's like it was made for me.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I
Excited.
did learn that next Tuesday is actually not going to be a conflict for me, but if you'd rather have Avery sit in instead, I'm totally fine with that.
Either way, for all I know, one of the other coaches has a conflict, and we'd need you anyway. So we'll definitely look into that after the show here and
Okay.
get word to both you and Avery. In the meantime, though, I believe, if I remember correctly, we have two objectives today. One of them is to give a VOD review for Zacherias, which I have prepped and ready to go.
Oh, yes, from last week.
Get that pulled up on stream. And then the other thing that we will have to do is record a little bit of an in-house for the benefit of North Star. North Star is another player who's reached out to us, and they, I believe, are watching the stream at this point, and we can have them hop in at some point here. But what we'll need to get going for them is an in-house. So I'm thinking what we will probably do here, the stream is going to go a little bit later than it usually does. I hope everyone's cool with that. We had a prior engagement that forced us to delay just a little bit here. So what I'm thinking we do is we do the VOD review at its normal scheduled time, and then we do the in-house a little bit on the later side. And North Star, let me know in the event that that doesn't work for you, if you can't be here a little bit later than 5 p.m. Pacific. Because if that's the case, then we can get that done a little bit on the earlier side. What's up, Lunar Star, aka North Star? Glad that you made it in here. So yeah, again, Lunar Star, North Star, in the event that you have to go at some point, let us know. Because currently the plan is to shift the in-house scrim to the later part of the stream, which is going to be later than we usually run. So if you've got a split before then, we should definitely get your in-house done sooner than later. Otherwise, the plan is to do it the other way around. All right. Just had to do a 2v4 in League. That sounds about right. Sounds like how it do be sometimes. I'm going to pull up the recording really quickly. And I think we should just be able to get started with the VOD review off the top here. I think that's probably how we can make this fit. So if we want, let's pull up Zacherias. Zacherias, feel free to hop into the waiting room voice chat on Discord, in the Bravous community Discord. And we'll bring you up here and let's talk about Squidio game. Let's see here. I believe it was a YouTube video that I was sent from Zacherias. Oh no, wait, it's our old VOD from the last week.
Yeah, from last week.
That's right. That's why I'm blanking on where it is. Okay. Yes, that's right. I said again because it echoed. So let's go to this, and then.
Quick question for you, Jeff.
Hmm?
You've probably messed with this before. How stable is it to use the Elgato capture software to play using your PC as a monitor? Like not OBS, because I know OBS adds a decent chunk of delay, but just the software.
My intuition is that there would still be significant delay, but
because,
I haven't tested that individually.
Yeah, because I tested the OBS and it looked like a lot of delay, but I'm watching it on. I tried the Elgato thing, and it seems pretty. I can't notice a difference, at least like off the bat.
Awesome.
It also doesn't have that sound delay thing that the OBS thing does.
It would be wonderful if that was the case, but I have no knowledge of whether that is true.
Yeah, I want to experiment with it, I think.
Alrighty. So we're ready to go with that. We don't have Zacherias in Discord just yet. I am going to really quickly...
Zacharias, if you join any of the voice chats here in the Bravous community thing, we'll drag you in.
Yeah, there you go. Need to know which VC. Any one of them works, so don't even worry about it.
Yeah, the waiting room one, it should be under... Would they be able to see it on the admin tab?
Yeah, that's the point of it.
Yeah,
Okay,
the waiting.
it
There they are. They made it in. So I will move them up. And oop, I moved them the wrong place. Move. So we're in mod chat right now. Here we are. So Zacharias, are you here? Can you hear us?
Yes.
Awesome.
I can hear you.
Perfect.
Can you
Perfect.
hear me?
Perfect. Yes, we can hear you. It's
Okay,
it's perfect. All right.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm going to pull up
Having-
my notes really quickly, and then we're going to be able to go over the match.
All right. Nice.
So
Sadly, I don't have my.
Mhm.
Oh, sadly, since I am using my phone for all this, I now have the 30-second delay. So us talking and the actual screen is just gonna be broken.
I can
So-
actually fix that. What I will do is I will video share to Discord. And so from there,
that works.
you should be able to see what we're looking at in real time. So right now it
cool.
should be on the play screen here. Is that what you're seeing?
Yes, I believe I am looking at your screen.
Awesome. All right,
Cool.
so let me double check one thing really quickly, just to make sure the right thing is on. Yes, it is. All right.
Let's see then.
I pulled up the wrong document, unfortunately, so I'm going to go and find the correct one really quickly.
Okay, cool.
Okay, there we go. I've got that pulled up now. All right.
Nice.
So let's move this over here. Click on this. I love that is the place that we started off. Okay. So we've decided to look at the Clam Blitz Macomart match here.
Okay.
I found that there was a good amount to talk about here. We've got Zach, as you can see on screen, on the NZAP.
All right. Cool.
Are you all hearing the audio from the video here? It doesn't really make a difference. I'm just
I
curious.
believe that is a no.
You wouldn't be from Discord. Are you on stream?
I left the stream because I didn't want an overlay.
I can check if you hit play.
Yeah, sure thing. And if maybe Jamie or Devi could inform us there. Nope, says Devi. Okay. We'll leave it as such for now. I don't think it's incredibly important here.
Yeah.
So I struggled just a little bit with getting the camera onto Zach in the appropriate amount of time. But we see here we're rolling out. Zach is on the left-hand side, and Zach is already playing very aggressively. And so I'm going to back up for just a second here because I have a slight concern here. You do have Simon here going with you left, so that's good. You do have some support, but you're very quickly rushing past the point where Simon can help you. Let's say you can see two people in front of you, right? There's one person right here. You can see my mouse, right? There's one person right here, and there's one person right here. So what could happen is these two players could recognize that you're alone, and if they both rush you at the same time, now you're stuck in a 2v1, and that's not the place you want to be. So I would say pushing past the left stack here, that's the name that we give that taller area with all the breakfast cereal boxes here. Pushing past that, probably not safe right away against higher level players. Now, in this case, you ended up getting away with it to some degree, but you find yourself once again in front of two players as just the one. This is a 2v1 situation here. You are lucky to get out of that one unscathed.
I have an extraordinarily large amount of luck in Splatoon, which I really shouldn't have.
Your luck runs out the higher level you get in ranked. That's the way that's going to work out.
That is very true.
So that's something to bear in mind here. So you play a little bit safer here. Now you're going to push the right closed area. Now, you don't know where anybody is. A map check here would definitely help you out, and I'm not sure whether you're doing that because this is the spectator cam, so we wouldn't see it if you were flicking the map open. But checking the map here would be a great idea just to see what could potentially be around the corner, what could potentially be on the stack above you. But now you're in a position where this might not be a bad thing. This might be a good position to flank from. This might be a good position where if you can find enough clams, you can get something in the basket. But you need to know where people are. So it looks like you're trying to play it somewhat stealthy. Ooh, and you don't notice this player here, and that's one of the risks of pushing forward like that. So one of the big things that I was talking about in my notes was quote-unquote holding forward. A lot of the time you are, by default, moving towards the enemy. That's just kind of like what you're doing without even thinking about it. It's just always what's happening.
There's actually a thing about that because the current controllers I'm using have drift, which always makes me move forward, and it's much more difficult to move backward. So I practically have no choice, which is a huge disadvantage in fights.
That is definitely. I would definitely, when you can, because I know pro controllers aren't the cheapest things in the world, but the Pro Controller is a lot more consistent. And so if you are in the market for a new controller, I would go for those, because I know of, like, for example, Smash Ultimate players who have gone through 10 or even more than a dozen sets of Joy-Con and had all of them start drifting at some point, whereas they've been able to keep the same Pro Controller alive for their entire careers. So I think it is definitely a worthwhile investment, but again, that costs money, and I wouldn't blame anyone for not having that readily available. So that's something to think about. In general, what I find is that you do have high KAs in a lot of these matches, so you've adapted well to the difficult positions you end up putting yourselves in sometimes. But that will stop working. That's something that's really challenging about being in, like, A rank specifically, is that you've become very good at beating the beginner strategies. Like the things that people start doing when they start playing the game, things like relying on rollers instead of learning how to aim, things like just flanking and taking 1v3s and getting people because they don't turn around fast enough. Those kinds of tactics work really well up until about A rank. And then once you start getting into the S ranks, they fall off dramatically. The technical skill of players increases a lot. They're able to turn around and be shooting you as soon as you flank, and so it's really difficult to pull off those flanks anymore. So you want to start getting in the habit more of waiting and watching before you engage. So you know going in that you're not walking into a 1v2. So you know that when you take a fight, you're definitely taking a fight at a numbers advantage instead. Another thing to do, I'm sorry to cut you off, I'll get back to you in just a second. Another thing to note is you want to be painting in places where enemies might shark. That particular thing that just happened is a great example of that. You're in range of him before you're painting the area in front of him. So I'll back that up just a second so that we can see how this develops. Right about here, as you move this direction, you could be firing and painting that purple ink so that you know there's no one hiding there. Because he pops out right at the edge of that ink. So that's something that would have taken away the advantage that he had, taken away his ability to get the jump on you. Sorry, you were going to ask a question?
No, I was just gonna make a pointer. It's that I have a really weird way of practicing. Because what I do is I mess around doing 2v1s with my team, since I'm a overall, like, higher level player. So I do 2v1s with them, so I'm required to do flanks and all these, like, weird kind of strategies that usually never work in ranked, which usually leads me to the disadvantage, so.
Yeah, if you've got a team, what you might want to do in cases like that is find a way to practice a little bit differently so that you are in a more normal team situation. Because I know that developing those habits is going to end up getting you splatted, and it's going to be harder to break those habits the longer you let them go on. So that in general, I would say that's a habit to break now before it becomes a problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, referring to that first death, something more like you want to be painting into enemy turf at max range. It looks like you are starting to paint into it, but that's when he pops up and you're already right next to him. So, like, if that had been a sploosh, if that had been like a Luna Blaster or something that does have shorter range than you, they still would have been able to hit you from the range you started painting in. So, you know, be aware of your ranges and try and use your max range when you're painting into enemy territory like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to work on zoning a lot more.
All right. Awesome. So Andre gets that pick there. And so far, nobody's scored. A pretty even KA spread, looking like a pretty even game so far. So you come out here, and I love that bomb. I drop that bomb literally every time I am respawning in Clam Blitz because they need to get to that point to be able to score the clam. And if you have a bomb there, they can't. So
I just do that naturally
excellent.
every single time I go there.
That's a really good habit to have. Just make sure you don't run out of ink. Now, did you notice the player?
Yeah. That's why I kind of swam backward and did this like weird reverse flank thing. I don't know.
Gotcha. So mechanically speaking, against someone who's like S+ or X rank, you're getting splatted before you turn back around because they were in range of you. And once somebody is in range of you, it's too late to try and retreat. If you try and retreat, they will just chase, and they're still in range, and you're still not shooting back at them. So by the time you got to the point where the junior could actually hit you, which we'll see in just a second, it's right... So right here... Okay, they picked the Tetras there, which is lucky for you. If they were aiming at you, they probably would have had time to splat you there.
Which
right there...
worried
You see the junior right here? At this point, you need to just kind of cut your losses and try shooting at them. You might swim strafe to the right or left to make the dodge to make them miss. But this needs to be combat movement at this point. The time to retreat from the situation is long gone. If they have their aim on, you're splatted right about this point, or maybe like here. By this point, you're definitely down.
Yeah. I just kind of throw the suction bomb to make sure they can't like stop chasing me and all that. So.
And that's a really good tactic. Like you see Charger players use that all the time, where if somebody sneaks up on them, they just put a splat bomb down on the floor in between them and their opponent and run away. So it's a little bit less effective with the suction bomb because it takes so long to explode. But I still like the idea. Maybe sometimes you like throw the suction bomb a little bit in front of you and then swim past it, and then it'll be exploding by the time. So that sort of tactic is great. Here it looks like you're just looking for one clam that can get you in. I would definitely be looking at the map and seeing like at what point do I need to cut my losses, super jump back, and help defend. But right now it looks like your team is doing fine. You've got a 4v3 situation, so even with you out of play, it's still a 3v3. That's still something that you can rely on your team to be able to do something with.
Yeah.
Seems like you're having trouble finding this last clam.
Yeah. Yeah.
Popping armor there actually might have been a mistake. The reason I say that is that it looks like this player who was up here and dropped into mid didn't see you. When you pop armor, I have a great example of this edited into the S Plus video. The little armor effect on screen points to every enemy player who has received armor. And so you're making yourself a lot more visible by popping the armor here. You're making it more likely that they notice you as you go for this clam and try to get the power clam in the basket. That
was just sad.
Yeah, and I commented, you're just standing there like, oh man.
It's like I knew that I was in a 2v1 and I just couldn't fight back, so I just stand there and like accept that I've been
at that
failed.
point there's not a lot that you can do. You've missed the power clam and you're kind of just stuck. Now, talking about the miss of the power clam, you see this little dome that's out there in front of the goal? If you throw from, like, while you're standing on that dome, you make it in. So you can use that kind of as a metric for it.
Because, like, I think it was an element of fear that played into this, because since there are so many people around me, I want to, like, throw it in as fast as possible. So I wasn't as patient.
Got it off just a little bit earlier.
I ended up missing. Yeah.
Even when I have 3 people shooting at me, what I will do is press and hold the A button for just a fraction of a second to make sure that the arc that it shows you is actually lining up to the basket.
Yeah.
Even if I know I'm getting shot, I will take the extra fraction of a second just to make sure it's going in and that I'm not wasting my shot. You definitely had time, especially with the armor coming on you. That was going to save you an extra shot's worth of time. So that's something that you probably could have done there. But yeah, once you've got it thrown, Jamie's behind you, someone else is behind you, someone's in front of you, it's over at that point. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so there, you probably, this icon that you see here on screen, as soon as a power clam is made, that's something that should always catch your attention, even if it's in your peripheral vision. And you saw this come onto your screen early enough, you might have actually been able to interrupt its pathing. So it shows up right there, right? If you beeline for this, if you go straight forward and you maybe paint their feet, I don't think they might get to the basket in time. They might not. But you definitely make it more likely that this person gets splatted if you head for them right away.
Okay. So I'm pretty sure during this moment, I thought they were like all the way to the right of the map, or the like left or whatever, instead of being in the middle area. So I had no idea, and I wanted to like kind of flank around, which in the end didn't end up that well. So
yeah, so that's kind of an awareness vision sort of thing. But the longer you're at it, good pick, the better you're going to get at seeing what's in your peripheral vision. And that's a really good double to pick up, because you saw that player was shooting at your teammate, right? So you know that you don't have to worry about them. You can just walk at them. You can just take them down. So that was really well played there. Now, whether that whole thought process did go through your head or whether you would have engaged even if they had been looking at you, that's a different question. And that's something that only you can answer. But that should kind of be the thought process there.
That I started shooting at them.
Yeah, there you go. Good aim.
I don't even... I don't even know about that kill. I think I was just kind of shooting and was lucky enough that all 4 shots hit. I didn't even know that person was there.
Oh, okay, so you were just painting in that direction. There is someone behind you, and so that was a really good snap you had there. Now, there's basically 2 ways to think about aim that are both important. One is, can you snap to a target? So somebody is right behind you. How fast can you get your cursor from where it is to behind you? And then the other part is tracking, which is you already have your aim on. Can you keep it on? Your snap there was phenomenal. I probably wouldn't have done it as well myself. Your tracking here is what lets Jamie get away from you and get the pick. Because I'll slow this down for a second. So right here, you get on him, but then he moves away, and he has just enough time to land enough shots. So the way that you practice that is not using the stationary targets in the practice room, it's using the moving ones. You, obviously, you know, don't make it so that you're using muscle memory to figure it out. Like, the drill I like to do is close my eyes, spin around in a circle using the right stick, and then open my eyes, and then snap to one of them. And when I snap to one of them, it's going to move, and so I have to keep tracking it as it goes.
I will say, I thought for that exercise you were supposed to keep them closed and use sound cues.
No. That's why it says eyes closed, and then the eyes closed goes away. It's so that maybe I should add eyes open in future uses of that clip. That would be more helpful. I'm glad to get that feedback, actually. But yeah, so I'm closing my eyes, and then I'm opening my eyes, seeing where the target is, snapping to it, and then firing from there. So that's what that drill's all about.
All right. That will play very helpful in the future.
So right now you're running down this guy. You saw that there was someone up here to your left, one because they're marked, and two because you saw them on screen. This guy, you push into them, that's a 1v1, maybe a 2v1 if this guy is really aware and drops in behind you. You focus this guy, this person isn't going to have a good angle. You know, they're going to, if they try to come to help this person, they've got to fight uphill, or they've got to like climb over a wall or something to get into that fight. So since this person seems to be shooting at your teammate, I would have gone after them instead and tried to single them out so that you've got your 2v1 against this person, rather than chasing this person who could easily just get away, which I think they actually do as you chase them here. And it actually does end up becoming a 2v1 here. This player comes in, and if you had rushed them, they would have rolled behind you. So it's a good thing you disengaged in time, and you actually are able to pick them off. It looks like they were damaged from a fight earlier, so good job from that. I'm actually surprised that that worked. It looked like Jamie didn't quite have his aim on in time, but good job, also, nevertheless, having the aim on quickly.
And also the ink armor just, I don't know, like, it gives me this kind of like feeling of power that I can easily take on 1v1s. So
and that's good to an extent. Like, basically when someone pops armor, my coach would say everyone becomes a frontliner. Everyone, it's time to just push. Okay, you've got the armor. There's never going to be a better time than now. So that is not a bad way to feel about it. You kind of want to make sure that, though, that you're holding forward together. You're holding forward with your teammates with you. Because right now you are alone and you've taken on 2 players by yourself, and here's a third one. You do manage to move and get behind them, so good job there. If Mikey had been able to paint his feet and swim behind you, you might have been in a little bit of more of a mix-up game. He also might have been able to get behind this block, so definitely not a guaranteed thing the way you played it. Walking backwards is not the fastest way to get that, but
I found that I tried to like go towards him too fast, which I was lucky that it played out right, but
swim strafing, once you realized that you were missing, would have gotten you in better position than walking backwards if he had played that ideally. But okay, so you build a clam here. Now, I think, was it here? There's a power clam right under the basket.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
You swim by that to make your own, and by the time you've made it, you've run out of time. If you had gone for that one, you would have made that in. So the lesson to take away from that is it's all about your peripheral vision. You're pretty good at seeing what's like in about this radius of the screen. That's stuff that you're paying pretty good attention to. But it's more likely that something important that you don't know about is going to come from outside this circle. So that includes things like these icons right here. You want to always, always, always know what's going on with these icons. Where are the power clams? Who has someone picked them up? Also, if you're going to get shot, it's going to come from outside this radius. You're going to see that indicator, those shots coming in from usually one of these 2 sides. And so being aware of those as well is going to be important. Earlier on, when that teammate that that opposing player that I said you should be engaging on in mid with your teammate, they were right here on your screen. So I don't know if this might not help at all. This might just be a completely abstract conceptual exercise that doesn't help anyone. But what I always found helpful was when I learned how to unfocus my eyes. I had this little book where, like, if you unfocused your eyes, the picture on the page looked 3D. It was a really cool little optical illusion. Learning the muscle memory for how to do that made me a lot more aware of what was going on in my peripheral vision, because when my forward vision was blurred, that was what I noticed more. So I don't know if that'll help you. I don't know if that'll help anyone else, but I feel like it helped me with like being more in touch with what's in my peripheral vision right now, because it's not something that we're trained to really be aware of until there's some like flicker of something dangerous there.
Okay. Yeah.
All right, so it looks like they're pushing. We're 3 down, or 2 down. You've only got your one teammate there, and I like that you go to them to support them. You're grouping up with your teammates.
Yep.
Your camera is a little bit low here. I think if you had it just a little bit higher, you would have gotten more information from the middle of the map here. But you do see right here, there is someone coming from left close. Let's see if you respond to that. Nope, it was on your screen for a split second, and you missed it there.
All right.
So there is someone coming from left that you're not aware of right now. See how this plays out. It looks like they might have gotten up on the left stacks, or they might just be behind you. There's a lot of paint back there. I think you're really lucky that they didn't flank you, to be honest.
Yeah.
It seemed like something that they easily could have done, and they opted not to. Okay, so your teammate gets a pick, and you're noticing that they're with you, so you're pushing in to close in on this person. Now, the movement here is a little on the slow side. What I would be doing is, when I get to about this position, I'm going to jump and paint diagonally up the slope. What you do is you kind of follow a pretty straight line. If you jump up maybe to here and then follow this edge more closely, it's kind of just like, you know how in like a racetrack, the fastest way around is to take the inside edge? Same kind of concept here. If you take a closer angle to them and cut straight up as soon as you're landed there, you're going to get there a little faster. But they end up getting away. I'm not sure if you could have caught them. You would have had to be able to paint in front of them to stop them from getting away here. And actually, I think they end up almost being able to score because nobody's watching mid at this point. Mikey probably should have been able to splat you from there. I wonder if they do. They get a couple of shots on you, and then your teammates help them out. But dealing with Mikey there, especially given that the power clam is gonna make it in if your teammates don't stop them, like there's no way you catch them in time. I would have just focused on Mikey in that position, because he's the one who poses an immediate threat to you. The other one, they're gonna get the clam in, like it or not, so leave them for the next person. But team is able to collapse really well here, and they actually don't end up scoring, at least right away. You've got 2 of them down. You've got 3 up, so this is a situation where you guys can push in. And if your teammates are able to get you the clams, which they do, awesome. Good thinking on Devi's part. Perfect. You score, and you almost die to a bomb. I probably would have cut to the right to get away from that bomb, just a better angle to get you away with it.
Yeah.
But you are able to survive there. I like your painting Devi's feet. That might give her a chance to get out. No, it doesn't, because too many people shooting at her, but that's a good thought. You're not able to find any clams in time. Right now, there are 2 of your teammates down. This is a lot too far back to be throwing clams. You see it lands right here. You need to be down about here to be able to make those clams in. It's not that much further back from where this dome is. It's a little bit, but the bottom of the ramp is kind of where you need to be able to hit those.
Okay.
But you make a couple more in, which is awesome. And you're going to get picked off at this point because your only teammate who's still left alive goes down there, so not a big issue. You made in as many points as you could, and your teammate actually follows up with 1 more, so that's neat. This is already a worthwhile push. Generally, a competitive player will tell you if you've made it down to 60 points on the first push, it was worth opening the basket for it. If you just get 1 power clam in and then die immediately, more often than not, they're going to be able to outscore that during the match, unless it's like a crazy defensive map like Camp Triggerfish. So the fact that you scored, but then immediately just gave them a pity clam, probably not even worthwhile, because you've just given them more of an ability to score. And if you stayed in there, you probably got splatted doing it. That's usually the only reason that a push only lasts that long. So you're giving them a power clam to score with, and you're putting yourself at a numbers disadvantage for a push that they literally only need one clam to outdo. So that's kind of the thinking behind it. So you guys definitely met the criteria for a good push here, especially in an uncoordinated team, a team that's not communicating with each other. This player, you can see they're trying to take cover from you, and the player on the left actually shot you a couple times. If this were an X-rank player, you'd already be dead, I think. I believe that's Mikey there, but that player definitely probably would have splatted you before you got into this engagement. Running into this engagement also put you further away from your teammates, which is why you got caught out by the splash down here. So I would have focused on the fight with the guy enclosed there, maybe tried to zone them out so that your teammates had a better opportunity with the player on the far right. Okay, so now they've got a push going. There, you can see there's someone that your Explo is dealing with here. If you had beelined for them, you might have gotten there faster, but you also would have put yourself at a height disadvantage, so I don't blame you for not quite trying that. Good job picking him off once you got into this angle. And you deal with that power clam well enough there. You get a couple shots on them as well. Good job. I am surprised that this player doesn't splat you there, but you're actually able to get the pick on them as well. So good stuff, good stuff. Again, you know, some of these times I'm pointing out, you know, this player should have splatted you kind of thing.
Yeah.
That will start happening the more you get into like S plus rank, especially X rank. These are expectations we'll have there, and it's good to start kind of thinking, this is the leniency that I have. So you're able to make a power clam here, and you do manage to get it in, and your teammate manages to get in there as well, so that's great. Getting the pick there was great that you followed up on that as quickly as you did, because that was a player that was guarding the basket, and yeah, there was someone else there ultimately, but with two teammates there, that's a good time to push. Simon is able to get a pick, so that's awesome. Maybe your teammates are going to be able to get another couple more in. We'll see. Looks like Debbie's backed up, but even so, worthwhile push. You scored more points. So at this point, you start to make a power clam. There are 9 seconds left on the clock, right? You could end this game by scoring, but your team has just been sort of delayed white. You're pretty staggered right now. So what I would say right now is maybe pick up the clams, but then like get a power clam made and throw it off the edge. Or don't even make the power clam and just throw clams off the edge. The reason I say that is now you're visible to them and you get splatted because of that. I don't think they splat you if they don't know that you're there, if you haven't picked up this power clam. You already have the lead. So what really, realistically, what's going to happen here is you're going to have to defend and just prevent them from making that push down to 37. As it stands right now, your team is now one player down for that defense, and so this is a more worrisome situation now. They only have 9 clams, though. It looks like they've either thrown the pity clam or lost it. So this is looking decent for your team. They are able to get it picked up. Oh, and they miss. If they don't miss there, now it's a tricky position. But I think as it stands right now, even if that person splats you, you probably win the game. Yep, there you go. All right. So I'm going to double check really quick to just make sure there wasn't anything in my notes that I missed there. Okay, 2 quick things. One was back when you were looking to maybe sneak into their base earlier. I think it was here, but we'll see. No, I think it's earlier than this, actually. I think it's right about here, maybe? Yeah, okay. So from... Oh, shoot. Let's back it up by 10 seconds. So from here, I think my question was like whether your goal was to try and sneak in or to try and paint up and give your teammates a jump or something. Because I think from that position, there wasn't a great way to score and your team wasn't with you. And so that was probably what I was going for there. And the other one had to do with the splashdown, which I think is a good point to bring up. Let's get over to where that happens. I think it's further back than this. It's right here. Okay. So the splashdown goes up, and at this point, there's purple paint behind you. You've been damaged already. You're probably going to get splatted if this splashdown completes at all. There's not a great way out of it, and it looks like you're trying to retreat the corner. You're not going to have time. It covers it. In positions like these especially, but really in a lot of situations, try to start developing the reflex to aim up and shoot at the splashdown. Now, I'm telling you, you will die more often if you start trying to practice that. Like, you're definitely going to get splatted, in sometimes even where you wouldn't have been splatted if you'd just run away. But now's the time to start working on that skill and trying to get to where you do have the aim to do that. Because eventually you will actually start getting enough shots to do it, or at least enough shots to where if your teammate pitches a shot in, then you're going to be able to get them down. You might be able to get them down on the way down. You know, start trying to develop that reflex. The sooner you start trying to work on that, the better, I would say.
Okay.
All right. Do you have any questions for me?
Oh, yes. So there was one thing that I really need advice on because I'm horribly with this. Ink armor. I have a horrible with timing, and I just, like, whenever I use it, something goes wrong.
All right. So ink armor is something that a lot of people think of as a panic special. They're like, well, if I'm going to get into a fight now and if I'm in danger, I should pop this so that it gives me defense in the fight. And what they're not considering is that it takes 2 seconds to activate. You do not have time to activate ink armor reactively if a fight is starting that you didn't expect. If you're definitely 100% going to lose that fight, if there are like 3 people on you and you're just super dead, maybe popping the ink armor is fine to give it to the rest of your team so it's not completely wasted. But more often than not, you need to use armor with a plan in mind going forward. So you pop ink armor before you start fights. And you pop ink armor when your team has an advantage so that it makes your team push forward. You know, if they see, oh, I've got armor now, they're more likely to go forward and take a fight. And that's what you want, like when you want to be using ink armor, basically. So let's say you're in neutral, right? Do you remember the concept of neutral from one of the How to Get Out of Ranked videos? I don't know if you've seen all of them.
I've seen the A, the C.
Okay.
The
I talk about
S
this in
and-
the S Plus video. So.
Oh, I haven't. That's the only one that I haven't watched.
Gotcha. So the idea of the neutral game is it's a position where neither team has an advantage yet. A great example, although not the only example, is the very, very beginning of the game. When you roll out, nobody's even had a chance to fight each other yet. So nobody's down. Everyone has about the same amount of paint, which is barely any. So that's the neutral game. If in the neutral game, your team all of a sudden gets a pick somewhere else on the map, if all of a sudden the other team is 1 player down, that's an awesome time to pop ink armor. Because now, not only does your team have a numbers advantage, now they have armor, and that's going to encourage them to move forward and fight and pick off even more players. So you want to use ink armor either to snowball your own advantage, or another time you would want to use it is if you notice that the enemy team is about to push, that's a great time to pop ink armor, because now the enemy team is going to have a harder time when they push winning those fights that they're obviously looking for. Obviously, if it's just you that's up, don't waste the ink armor expecting to fight a 1v4 with it. But basically, you want to use it when you know there's about to be a fight. And you want to use it, before that to trigger your teammates to take that fight. Now, if all you do is get armor as fast as possible and spam it basically instantly, that's also not going to hurt. I don't want you to get too much in the habit of being like, this isn't the perfect time to use ink armor. I'm going to wait. You want to take the best opportunity you're going to get within about 5 seconds of getting it, I would say. Because you never know when you're going to get picked and lose the ink armor charge. You also never know, if there's a teammate on the other side of the map, if it might have helped them if you had popped it, and they might not have gotten picked if they'd had it. So use it fairly quickly, but the best time to use it is when you know there's going to be a fight.
Okay. So would a good idea, like whenever you get an ink armor, look at the map to see if like you have an advantage or like a teammate is struggling?
It would be good to know that before you have it charged. Like one of the best times to check the map is when you're just painting safely. And that's something that you could be doing a lot more of as an NZAP player specifically. If you watch like a top Japanese player, literally the best players in the world, and they're playing the NZAP, you'll see them standing in one very particular position where they know that they are safe from opposing pushes. They'll be painting over their opponent's paint as much as they possibly can, but they'll be keeping themselves as safe as possible. And it is only once they get ink armor and their team is ready that they will pop that armor and push in. You're getting a lot of mileage out of pushing before you have the armor, before you have that advantage. But at the highest possible level, you want to go in when you have that advantage ready to go. So you're not putting yourself at a disadvantage if they happen to have a special to shoot back at you. So they'll actually play very, very passively up until the point that it's time to push. And then when they push, they'll play the aggressive playstyle that you're more used to. They'll play like a splatter shot at that point. Also like throw lots of bombs to disrupt enemy positions. This is especially for splat zones, because in splat zones, the objective is stationary. You know exactly where they're going to want to be. In other objective game modes, you might have to roll out a little bit more quickly. But usually an NZAP player will aim to get armor before the first fight ever happens. They'll just paint like crazy and have it ready to go in about 10 seconds so that when it's time for the team to actually take an engagement, they're ready to pop it right away at the beginning.
Okay. So I guess like that leads into a bit of like passive painting.
Right.
What was that called again?
So that's a good way to put it. What I would say is definitely take fights, because you are being somewhat successful in those fights. But take fights after you have spent a second or two passively painting and using that passive painting time to check the map and check your opponent's positions. So, like, taking a break for a second to paint the map before you start a fight will give you the opportunity to go in informed about what's happening, and it'll make you more likely to win that fight, not only because you are aware of the positions of the enemy, but also because you'll have ink armor by that point. So that's what I would say. Kind of try to establish a cycle for your team of, we're passive, I'm painting, I've got armor, now we're going in.
Okay. So currently on my team, I guess for one of them, it's like a soda slusher / tri-slusher. And the other one is a hero charger. And then after that is a, like, octobrush, I believe. So
okay,
it basically
so
means
brush,
that we have two
a bucket, an NZAP, and a charger. So what'll kind of happen there is your brush, the brush player plays the skirmisher role, which I think you will have gotten familiar with in the S-rank video. Their job is to kind of play a little bit further away from you guys, not like complete opposite end of the map kind of stuff, but they take off angles at the opponents, and they just kind of run around in circles and force the opponents to deal with them. If the opponents see them coming, then they'll be able to like run around, dodge around in circles long enough for you guys to collapse on the other side. And if they don't get seen, then they can play the ambush play style. They just show up behind the opposing team and hit them in the back. So what that will mean is that you and your slosher player will have to be a very tight unit, because you don't have as much support from that brush as you would have from another shooter player or something. The brush is going to be further away from you. And so
Yeah.
you two will need to play as a very tight pair that doesn't get separated from each other. And the charger will need to be watching you guys' backs. So, like, kind of have in the back of your head, what can my charger see right now? Would they be able to splat an opponent if they came at me?
Alright, cool.
And those are the
And
good
I
positions to take while you paint passively. Then once you pop armor, brush goes in one way, you and the bucket go in from another way. You try and take a good fight.
Alright, cool. And I actually believe that they are currently watching right now, so
Awesome.
hopefully they take it.
Hello, team. Good to meet you guys. All right. So that is
So-
going to do it for our VOD
Yeah.
review. I will make sure to upload the recording of this stream to the Bravous VODs channel, and I will make sure to get you a link to that so that you're able to go back and watch this both with your team and individually if you would like to later on.
Okay. Thanks.
All right, awesome. So we'll give Zacherias the boot. No, thank you very much for being here. We are going to move on to play some in-houses together so that we
Nice.
can hopefully give North Star a good recording for us to go over next time.
Cool.
Bye, Zacharias.
And if you're missing players, then I'll be right here.
Absolutely. We'll definitely want you to be in, I'm sure.
Alright.
All right. Catch you later, Zacharias.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So give me just a second to get my screens reorganized a little bit here,
No problem.
and then I'll be good to go. Okay. So to those of you who are here watching, we're going to do an in-house PB right now. Part of the purpose for this, remember, is to get some footage that North Star will be able to use for the VOD review next week. We'll be VOD reviewing with them. So I will really quickly put my friend code in the chat in case anybody would like to join us here. All of our coaches are free to hop in. Avery, feel free to hop in as well. And I see that Devi and Jamie are here. I see AirSign is here. We definitely will have enough Squid Game players as long as all of y'all are willing to play. And North Star, of course. Lunar Star in the chat. Jump into the PB as well. There is no password. I don't remember if we've added each other. If you haven't, the friend code was just put in the chat there, and you can use that. All right, yeah. We'll have to see. That's Bab, isn't it?
E10? I think so.
No, don't fall for it. Not this time. Not like this.
Don't worry, we're not going to let Bab into the VC to complete that.
This isn't even PG-13 content, so no way.
Oh, did the stream go down?
The stream is up on my end.
Oh, okay. It's back. I just had to refresh.
Okay, good. There's a friend request. Hopefully that's from North Star here. Oh, it's AirSign. I didn't know we weren't friends yet. There's a friend request. Munch, munch, munch. Awesome, it's North Star. Okay. I just DM'd you, but you can ignore that because I'm accepting your friend request right now. Oh yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. You're here now. So I've accepted the friend request, and North Star should be our 10th person to be able to join. Apologies for eating, but it has been a long day of broadcasting, including before this all started, and I haven't eaten lunch yet, so that's where we're at. Yes. Sit on the bab, prevent them from moving, prevent them from getting up to mischief. Solid babysitting techniques from a teacher to you. All right, thank you, number. We will need to spec
There they
somebody,
are.
so all right. Let's get things started with a game of Splat Zones. Not that one, and not that one, and probably not that one either.
We don't take kindly to certain stages around here.
This one, and there are better stages. We'll drop that one too. Okay. So, I am going to spectate myself, of course, so that I can look at North Star during all of this. And then Number has volunteered to be a spectator as well. Good luck, everybody.
All right. Oh, hey, Coach Team plus Jamie.
Hype.
Let me get my stuff in order over here.
I agree, Airsign. It would be great if you could go into the training room in the meantime.
That would be awesome. I would appreciate that so much.
Can you level gear in private battles?
No.
That is unfortunate.
Yeah, there would be too many exploits to level gear quickly if that were the case.
It's fair,
That's true.
but also disappointing.
Mhm.
I don't know what to wear for gear then. Let's wear these. Just some random stuff.
Whatever your heart desires.
Good warm up for the next rotation. Oh, cool. It's actually on the next rotation. That's neat. All right.
I appreciate our relatively short range comp.
We need comms also.
Hmm?
We don't have any intruders, so we could do comms
Hmm.
True.
in theory.
Yeah, you totally could. Alrighty. So we're going to immediately lock onto the perspective of North Star so that we can record their gameplay, and we'll have footage just like what we watched on the VOD review today for next week. Alright. Getting a quick look at their gear. And here they are.
Oh,
Ooh,
check
one
in.
behind.
Yeah, there is one there.
Big autobomb double.
Well, naturally, Jamie's the only one that's out there still.
Go forth, my chickens, says North Star.
Oh, ultra stamp behind.
Ooh, right onto a bomb.
No.
Alright, looks like a 2-down situation for blue team here,
Ooh,
which is probably
dang
not
it,
the
these
color
splat
they're
bombs.
seeing.
Nope,
we're
we're green
purple.
versus purple.
Yep. I have it on color lock so that the green doesn't reflect off of my very, very pale skin and cause problems with the green screen.
Crazy.
Get darker skin, Jeff.
It's almost like get thicker skin.
All right.
Just be black, forehead. Easy.
Come on, forehead, get it together.
It's just another way of saying touch grass.
Yeah, I guess I could at least get a little bit of vitamin D every now and again. Hey, I did go for a run yesterday, and that's why
Chicken.
It's why I'm coughing. It's because carking up from being very out of shape.
I'm gonna say I think these teams are not very well balanced.
What do you mean? 100-0 knockout?
Devi is breaking my ankles with the sploosh right now.
Yep.
Dude, I think everybody in the other team was just destroying me the entire
That
time.
is how the sploosh plays. It is I think the single shortest ranged weapon in the game, and that's including the roller. Like, it's very, very short range, and so it has to
Bad
like
versus
zoom
X.
at you. It has to get up next to you. So to do so, it's gonna zip back and forth at you.
Get better range out of the sploosh by throwing it.
Like a Tediore weapon in Borderlands.
Yeet.
Number, are you good? Did you want to continue spectating, or did you want to rotate back in? Because we can definitely, be rotating people. That's not a problem. Bab says, Junior can be aggro SMH. Junior can be aggro in very specific situations. It's not the best weapon to be doing it, but it can definitely do the job when it needs to. Number's just vibing. All right. Number will continue to vibe. And I definitely didn't set the teams at all. But
I think it's a little more balanced this time.
Yeah, this one looks a little bit better.
I'm gonna change up my weapon.
Oh, tower control. I want to change too, actually.
Mm-hmm. We're going to rotate through a couple different game modes here, and we'll pick a game that I think is a good example to go over. Haven't played Tower Humpback with Junior yet. This will be interesting.
Gotta hit.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say, gotta hit the Turf War VOD review for Turf Be Told preparation at some point.
There you go. I think, if I remember correctly, the general consensus from the Armor Farm players is that Junior is a lot less popular for tower control because your bomb is harder to get on the tower. You have less range, so you have to get closer to the tower to shoot at the tower. And so the NZAP kind of outclasses it a little bit for doing what it has to do to contest the tower. It's also a mode where paint isn't quite as important. It's still very important in every game mode, but you can get away with more slaying-focused comps here, and so that also leans you more toward the NZAP than the Junior. I'm gonna revive Turf Be Told one of these days. Just haven't been able to yet. Aw. All right. Interesting. Oh, that's what Bab was talking about. Ew.
That doesn't sound good.
They're running the Crapid Jet Squelcher combination, so poke damage galore.
Oh boy.
No!
Notstar switching up to a roller here rather than the custom Junior. Interesting swapping of roles there. I wonder. I haven't talked to them to figure out what their main role is, so it'd be interesting to know. Like, are you more of a Slayer, more of a support?
Oof.
That'd be information that'd be good to know. I think before the VOD review, I'll make sure to ask them that in the Discord. So, let's see how they decide to defend this first checkpoint here. Great job getting that crucial pick on Plat from, looks like that was Bab. Bab is the E with the number 1 followed by the number 0. Not going to play into that.
Just eating a nice pizza pie.
I have no idea what that means, but okay.
We'll explain later, and you will roll your eyes.
Yeah.
Got it.
I wonder if they saw that opponent there. The camera that we received made it look like they might not have noticed, but that didn't look super natural for them either. So it's possible that they saw it and it just doesn't come across. For those that are confused about what we're talking about, the camera control in spectator mode, it smooths things out considerably, and it also doesn't show when somebody's looking at the map. So what we see is not exactly what North Star sees. It's going to be optimized a little bit so that viewers of the spectator cam can tell what's going on a little bit better. It's a lot easier to keep track of that sort of thing while you're the player and you know that the camera is about to jerk to the left than it is for a spectator here. I'm actually pretty happy with the way that they've built the spectator camera. I think that the auto cam is a great addition to the game. It's a way that, you know, someone who hasn't ever practiced Splatoon camera control is still able to see, you know, usually what's most important about the action. There are some blips here and there, but most of the time they're not going to be focusing on the ballpoint who's defending from way back in spawn. They're going to be focusing on what's going on around the objective. And you also have the ability to where, you know, if it's looking at the wrong person, you can manually override it and go and look at the player that you think is most interesting. All right. So it looks like there is a push going on the second checkpoint here. Let's see if our quote-unquote blue team here, it's not going to be blue to them because of the aforementioned color lock.
It actually is this
Actually, it's
time.
blue.
Oh, alrighty. Is it blue versus yellow?
Yeah.
Nice. So we're actually seeing the real colors
Og.
for the only time in this entire session, in all likelihood.
Oh, well, we got light blue, and you have more purple on your screen,
okay.
it's like.
Yeah. There's a cycle of about 8 different color combinations, I believe. And they are actually predictable. So there's an algorithm that TOs and content creators have come up with, which will automatically, once you just set the starting point, get the colors correct, so that when you line up the teams to which side they're on, it will actually show those colors, and it'll rotate those colors appropriately. Neat little feature. All right. So North Star able to jump off and get away after defending the first checkpoint. Right now, looking at the KAs here, you can see what's going on with this Jet Squelcher Rapid Blaster combo. They are putting out chip damage, the Rapid Blaster hitting people around walls and whatnot, and the Jet Squelcher, with its range, is able to pick people off with either burst bombs or shots, or as we saw at the end there, the Stingray. And that's what makes that such an oppressive combination. That's something you're going to see really, really often in competitive play. The numbers under each player? Oh, yes. So there's special charge under there in addition to the KA and specials. All right. So let's try and even these things out a little bit. We will separate those two. We'll separate these two. Air sign is S+ at least. And then I think it's probably good to mix up any of the other 4. I haven't seen exactly where North Star is. Might be a little bit further into S rank, or S+. But
I think they're S+.
All right. We'll try and do something like this. And that should probably even things out a little bit. We'll see if this ends up being more even. And then if that does turn out to be the case. Oh, I forgot to be turning the maps off as we go. But then we'll be able to adjust as needed. All right. What's up, Strike the Tent? Hey, Bravous, thanks for the YouTube videos. Very helpful for improving my Splat game. Thank you, Strike the Tent. I really appreciate you coming on to say so. It's a lot of effort that gets put into those. That video was about 3 months in the making by the time it finally got uploaded. So the fact that we've been getting so much support so many kind words on those videos has been really validating, I would say. Can come off spectate next time if anyone's down to take the spot. All right, we will at least start rotating people in and out at that point in time if nobody in particular wants to spec. Can't wait to see what y'all do with Splat 3. I can't wait to see Splat 3. I'll be honest, Splat 3 makes me nervous. Splat 3 is like, this is better be as good as Splat 2. This is better not, mess up any movement mechanics or break any weapons or anything like that.
Yeah. The more I play Splat 2, the more I see areas for improvement that I hope just happen in Splat 3.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of quality of life stuff that I think they definitely have the development time to smooth out now that they're taking a longer time on this. So, Splatoon 1 came out in 2015, right? And then Splatoon 2 came out in 2017. It was a very short development cycle, in part, I would imagine, because of the poor showing of the Wii U, to where they had to get a new console out faster than they were hoping. So, all right. So it looks like Air Sign way back here painting up a little bit as a couple of early picks happen. Looks like someone was able to flank Devi there.
Dang it.
North Star forced to back out a little bit. The blaster causing them a lot of grief right now. Ooh, excuse me. Even worse? Come on, Zacherias, don't say that.
Oh my gosh, I can't aim.
Ooh, those missiles, very, very impactful there. Getting rid of 2 players from around the basket. Unfortunately, not a lot of follow-up from the blue team here. So, despite going down to them, North Star and crew going to be able to recover from that. Ooh, finds Jamie and is able to get down enough damage that the teammate could get the trade back. Sometimes that's all you need. Sometimes all you need to worry about is doing enough damage that your teammate can come up from behind you and win the fight afterward. So. Obviously, you want to be winning the fight by yourself, but if it's a 1-for-1 trade, your team can live with that. I like that they're putting the beacons down, or not the beacons, the mines down in insert place here. I think that is a good place to put the mines.
I wonder where.
No spoilers. Clever mine there to give vision of the player in case they decided to try and push.
Ooh. Did not see that baller until it was too late.
Just holding down mid really hard right here. You have to think something's got to give eventually. I like the flank. Now, do they have follow-up for this? I think they probably do. They're going to need it soon, though. Oh, North Star is definitely doing brush things right now. Looks like they've dipped out. So it would appear to be difficult for them to continue that push as they've got it right now.
Didn't see the back out and I got flatted in the corner.
I wonder if they're noticed. They're noticed now, and they have been traded. So, good awareness on Mikey's part to be able to get his aim over and take care of business there. North Star definitely in a very vulnerable spot in that point. Alrighty. So let's take a quick look here. What's going on? So a couple picks go down. Looks like a trade between Bab and Devi. North Star holding the clam here. So we'll see if they're going to try and use it to draw attention someplace else. Ooh, dangerous positioning there. Able to make it away, but mostly due to the help of their teammates. Interesting choice to choose to baller there. We'll definitely talk about that play if this is the one that we end up going over. I think after this match, I'm going to ask Northstar which weapon they would prefer me to review. So they've played 3 different ones so far. Be interesting to see what it is they're thinking is their main here.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh my god. I can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Trick with the Rapid Blaster is learning to paint your feet very quickly. If you can do that, then you can usually get away after the first or second shot. Oh man, they've got the basket open, but they need to score a clam in 2 seconds or they're going to lose their chance. They got it!
My bomb didn't kill you! You landed right on top of it!
Ah, jeez.
Very close one there.
I'm just glad Airsign stayed alive, or whoever that was stayed alive long enough for me to jump over to them.
Devi's saying, it's so hard to signal to throw the power clam to the back line. So, maybe if Devi this ways at you or something like that, that is Devi's way of saying, hey, give me the power clam so that you don't have it yourself. Okay, let's take out the maps that we've played already. We've played Humpback, we've played Manta. I believe there was one more, wasn't there? Maybe not. I think that has only been 3 games. So,
Oh, Star's gone.
No, we played another one on Manta. We played Zones.
right.
Yeah, we lost
And we
Star,
haven't
though.
played Rainmaker yet, correct? I don't think we have. So this is going to be
Right.
the way that it is.
Yep, there they are.
All right, North Star's back. Awesome. All right. So we're going to rotate number... It kicked you out of the room? All right. Well, I'm glad you made it back in. We're going to rotate number back in at this point. So I'll just start from the top of the list and go down to the bottom. So we'll spec Devi, which means we should probably rebalance things a little bit here. Oop. Okay. So Bab is X rank, and Jamie is X rank. Air Sign, I believe, is S+, and North Star is S+. And then... Oh, wait, I think Number is X rank as well. So we'll kind of do it like this, and... We'll keep it there for now. That's probably about the best we're going to get here. Might still be a little bit tilted in one team's favor, but... This is looking...
Oh, we're gonna have to
Okay.
switch up weapons here.
Yeah, and debating what I want to try.
Oh, is it a good thing that you weren't in for this one, Devi? I don't remember seeing you say that you would like to be out, but that's convenient if that's the case. Its number says, "Don't overestimate me," frowny face. Because I cause pain. What are you talking about? I mean, in game, sure. Anyway,
Stick with this one. Why not?
oh man, my toe still hurts from when I stubbed it earlier. I hope that nothing's wrong there.
A double kneel
Sore or
splash? Maybe? Actually, no, I could try switching to... If I have time to find the weapon.
All right, here we go. Rainmaker Albacore. It's a very popular map for long-range weapons. There's a YouTube video that Pro Chara, a top player, I mean, like, has been on a top 2 team in North America. Good. He put out a video recently where he got a bunch of his buddies together and played Quad Hydra on this map's tower
Wow.
control mode, and it worked. It wasn't, you know, game breaking or anything, but with you know, such high caliber players, they were able to pull it off. If there's any, you know, map that you're going to try it, this isn't a bad one. Very strong Hydra map,
Ah.
and lots of angles that you can take for Crossfire. So let's move in and take a look at how things are going with North Star once I can figure out what letter he is. There he is. All right. Actually, I don't know whether I've asked North Star's pronouns. I'm double thinking on that, so I apologize if I got that incorrect.
Okay, they're 3 down. Oh, well, reset.
All right. So, North Star's team able to get the advantage at least, if not the Rainmaker. Looks like they've grabbed it. Now they're going to try and make a push. We'll see where they decide to go.
Well, somebody got me.
Ooh.
Oh, it was a spy bomb. Okay.
The Ray on North Star, well aimed. Bab able to take them out with that. All right, North Star noticing that they're last up probably and trying to figure out what they want to do next here without committing too much. Really annoying curling bomb there, actually. Ooh.
Gosh.
And down go 2 to the splashdown. Number getting in there, making stuff happen. Let's see if the Rainmaker is able to push off this. It is a little bit. Can Synchrony close in on it in time?
Oh, okay. Guess I got
Oh,
behind
man,
me.
a push to 12. That's huge. This map, that can easily be a winning push if they defend well.
Seven.
But,
Wow, everybody was
7
gone.
squids down.
an absolute ink bath, if you will. Ooh. Oh, and gets one at the pop. Let's see if they decide to start pushing in that direction. Getting harassed from further away, so decide to back off a little bit. Maybe give the frontliners time to push in, but they're 3 down.
I feel Bab has almost exclusively been the only one to get me this entire game.
That is their main weapon. Oh, here comes the Ray. And they decide to go in and aggress the Rainmaker, but they get trapped by the teammates. It's only the Jet Squelcher up.
Oh my gosh. Really?
But the Rainmaker is not able to push to the point where they are going to get lead yet. And so, North Star's team able to hold. No KO yet. Hello, I'm French. I would like to know if we need the subscription to play Splatoon. You
Yep,
don't
well.
need to subscribe to be able to jump in and join. I will get you the friend code right here. I believe we might have a full lobby. If the lobby is full, then of course you wouldn't be able to join, but having that will at least give you the opportunity to try. Oh, the online subscription? That is a different question. Yeah, in order to play Splatoon online, you do need the Nintendo Switch Online paid service. It's a certain amount of money every month. Oh, no! They were trying to swim away and swam just a little too far back, ended up going down through the grate. So now the Rainmaker has been dropped off into mid. Team is going to need to pop it right now. And they do pick it up, so they get one more push. Or not.
Well.
I stand corrected.
Rough day. I've not been playing Splatoon at all very well today.
Ooh, you've got a headache, Zacharias? Feel free to drop out if you need to. Don't push that sort of thing. You've already done what you got to do here. You can go and get some rest if you need it. All right. So, oh, it looks like Zach already did drop out, or never was in the first place. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of Splatoon Albacore, or Splatoon Splat Zones. New Albacore, or not? Getting rid of New Albacore. I'm saying words. They're effective words. All right. I'm gonna rotate that. Okay, so we'll put Devi on that team. And then that should help. Ooh, Zones Triggerfish. I actually really like this map mode. That's a controversial opinion, though. The zones are split in such a way that it's very difficult to have an impact on both zones at the same time. You need something that has very long range to do that. So a lot of the time what ends up happening is you split the team up, split the team in half, where 2 players are guarding one zone and 2 players are guarding the other. You could, go and rush one zone with 3 players and try and overpower them that way. But the issue then is that you're leaving one player in a 1v2 on the other zone, and that still won't cap it. So most teams will go for the 2-and-2 formation there.
I keep trying to change weapons for North Star, but then North Star changes weapons.
Whoops.
We should figure out what North Star actually wants to play, so I can
Yeah, I will
accommodate.
DM them really quickly, because I did ask that question earlier and didn't get a response, so I'll send it in a DM.
North Star confirm in time. Oh, now Jamie bowed out too. Well.
All right, here we go. And hello, Cookie Dough. Welcome in. Good to have you here. We're running a little bit later today. We're probably going to go till about X45 or so. Give you guys good time to play some games. Yep. We do currently have a full lobby, unfortunately, but as soon as anybody leaves the lobby, you are more than welcome to try and snipe that spot from them.
Yoink.
Unless it's North Star, because we're recording footage for North Star's VOD review, which will be next week. All right. Looks like blue team able to work their way in here. This time North Star on the Forge Splattershot Pro. Interesting that they've decided to go double Forge here. The Splattershot Pro is a very strong slaying weapon. And the bubbles are going to be good for making burst pushes and burst paint. But teams typically avoid going double Pro, specifically because the Pro doesn't paint as much. Especially on something like Splat Zones. If it comes down to who can paint the zone, the double Pro team is going to lose on that one. So, ooh, what a hammer yeet. That was so close. North Star had to hightail it out of there. Number's going to hop out after this one. All right, sounds good. Thank you for making space for other people there, Number. We appreciate that. Even if you did have something else that you had to go and do anyway. Shopping earlier, so I didn't have time to pop in. Well, it's lucky for you then that this was one of the ones that went later. So now you're able to catch a lot more of it. Great use of the bomb there from North Star. Common tactic to compete with tent umbrellas is to use lethal bombs. If you throw one at the tent shield, what'll happen is it'll explode on contact, even if it's not a burst bomb. So even a suction bomb with the longest fuse time of any of the sub-weapons, it'll just pop right away and explode like it does on a bubble or on a baller. So if the tent player happens to be on the wrong side of the shield when that bomb immediately goes off, they're splatted without being able to do anything about it. If you have two people on either side of a tent, you just each throw a bomb at the same time, and there's nothing the tent can do about it. So, blue team able to neutralize here, but haven't quite been able to get both zones capped. And they're having some trouble. They're trying to reach over the zones, it looks like, with these Splattershot Pros, which do have range to hit most of that zone, but they're going to need some presence on the other side of the map to really be able to contest that and get it back to the right color for them. Don't worry, Mikey, nobody saw that. Ooh, and a double bomb for Air Sign here, able to get rid of both players pushing the enemy zone here. So that should buy their team some time. Thank you, Cookie Dough. I'm gonna mess with chat settings really quickly. Perfect. All right. North Star getting forced back by some bombs. Good job on them recognizing that they are not in a safe position, but they're going to need to figure something out soon because they need one of those zones to go neutral to stay in this game here. Whew. They duck back, they heal, but as they lost too much time, they popped the bubbles and they tried to... I think saving the bubbles there a little bit longer would have given them the time to get to the zone and actually use them because they got forced so far away from the zones that by the time they were trying to use the bubbles, they weren't there yet. All right, looks like they might be able to neutralize here. Oh, this is looking tough. They just have not been able to paint both zones in a good long while here. The other one is so close. They're trying to defend the left one so that they can use the time they have to get the right one. Doesn't work out. North Star is splatted by a suction bomb, rather, from Mikey. And that might just be it right there. I don't think they can neutralize.
Yeah, I didn't want two Splattershot Pros, but by the time I had locked in, North Star had also changed.
I'm getting word from North Star now on which weapon is their main.
That is the most balance you can get as far as teams go, at least.
All right. Go tower control. Get Camp Triggerfish ruled out. All right, Cookie Dough is going to hop on. Booting up the game. So we can probably get a game in the time that it's going to take Cookie Dough to ready up. Only like a 3-second delay? Well, that's neat.
Hmm?
That makes me the happiness.
Oh yeah, I was noticing that. It's not behind very much at all.
Actually, we do need Mikey in here. Because we only have...
Yeah, we have
9 at this
9
point.
people.
Alright. So let's see here. Is there anything... Let's take North Star and put them on the other team here. And let's swap... No, that's looking pretty good. We'll leave it there. Unless you're a scrub like me who uses Twitch Mobile. Twitch Mobile is not great. Well, I use chargers, but I'm more to a support weapon. If you want a review on chargers, then definitely play a charger here. If we're talking support weapons, we've already seen your Neo Splash, so that's something
I would say
we
just
can use.
lock in your main weapons, and everyone else will adjust around you, because we're going to do the VOD review for you. So make sure you're locking in the weapons that you actually play.
Right.
Don't worry about working around other people's picks.
Definitely. Especially since right now you're on a team that has a bunch of people who can flex. Bab could play backline, or Bab could play something else. Hello, avid YouTube watcher, first-time Twitch watcher. Well, welcome, Piano Past, I'm assuming?
Yeah, welcome in.
I was about to say Piano Paste. I was like, that sounds like a terrible idea. Welcome, welcome. Good to have you on. Bab says, I'm dripping right now. Oh, man. What's Bab wearing?
Yeah, I would agree.
Beautiful. Absolutely stellar. Standout. All right. All right, we've got North Star on Charger here. I said we've got North Star. North Star. North Star. I don't know why it took so long for the game to figure out that that's who I was trying to spectate, but here they are. Let's see what they can do with the shiny laser pointer of doom.
I appreciate Bab trying to help me with the shield there. I just did not move.
All right. So North Star still in position here. Going to try and hold this position. It's a very important position because it gives them a really good look out over the tower. Looking like they're going to get pressured to the point where they're unable to defend first checkpoint. Let's see if they can maintain for second. And they do get a pick on Devi. Excellent snap there. But they haven't cleared out the area just yet, and they're getting flanked. They get dropped on. Are they still in there? Oh my goodness, they jumped out of there alive. Wild. And the full wipe comes out. Team able to stop the tower push in its tracks. See how they can adjust. That was a very strong push from the other team. 25 can at times be a winning push on this map, so something that's going to put the pressure on for sure for North Star's team to put together some offense of their own. Here we go. North Star on the tower here. Definitely watching out for what's coming from the enemy backline. Armor goes out, and 2 go down, 3 go down immediately. Clean picks for Devi's team here. Back to the drawing board for North Star and their team. About to see Gem Rage quit spectator mode. Made a Twitch account so I could watch this stream? Oh my goodness, thank you so much.
Wow. Welcome to Twitch. It's great here.
Yeah, welcome to the wilds of the internet. we have hot tubs. Anyway.
Thanks for hanging out, our little pog champs.
Oh god. That hurts me even more than the hot tubs comment does somehow. Anyway. I like the Ray, comes out and defends the tower really nicely there. Oh boy, oh boy. Having to run away a little bit there. Yeah, Twitch is a really neat platform that we are happy to use for a number of different applications at Bravous. Ooh, that's a 3-down situation for North Star. North Star has also shown themselves, so there's a lot of pressure about to come out at them. They're trying to hold this position for dear life, forced to jump out from the wall. But we'll die if we go in them. Oh, goodness. All right. Got a whole bunch of players marked here, presumably by one of Devi's mines. Yep, that's the only one that would do it. Got a whole bunch of armor on blue team, and that push was not going in from an advantage point. is nothing that yellow team was going to be able to use to make that one work. Yellow team on our screens, of course, for the competitors, it's going to be a different color because I have color lock on. Like I've mentioned before, if I let any of the green colors go into rotation, they reflect off of my skin because I am very white, and they actually cause me to get green screened out, which is obnoxious. So I avoid that by making everything yellow and blue instead. I would say it's a purple, but I've been debated on that, and nobody seems to argue when I say it's blue, even though I think there's clearly some purple there.
It's purple.
Yeah. See, Avery's an artist.
That is purple.
Avery agrees here.
Yeah, the colors on the stream are very close to the colors.
We also got Bab, another
course.
artist's opinion on this, so I think it's kind of sorted at this point. It's definitely a very bluish purple.
Yeah.
It's not a ton of red in there, but it's definitely enough to see.
Yeah, a little bit. It's got enough.
You can see it even easier in the splat bomb that just splatted North Star there. 10 seconds left on the clock, and North Star's team down 2 players and not on the tower. This is looking like it might be curtains unless there's an absolute hero play that could come out from Airsign here. Airsign is down. They have triggered the overtime, but they need to get on the tower. That's the sort of thing where, like, even as the Charger player, you might need to just kind of hold forward and pray. Pretty solid lockout there from Blue Team. Not a lot that they were going to be able to do to get back into it. It's blurple. I like that word.
That's a perfect word for it.
Ooh, Cookie Dough going to set up the capture card. Awesome. So
Nice.
they might be able to record some of their gameplay here. Because Cookie Dough is another player that we are going to be VOD reviewing a little bit later on. I believe on the 15th of June is where we've currently got that set up, or we might have to... I think there are 2 players who were asking for the 15th of June, and we need to kind of negotiate which one is going to be on there, or if we're going to do a double feature or something. But anyway, theirs is going to be coming up as well soon, so we will be able to add them in. Okay, so we had Andre sit, but we didn't have Mikey sit, correct? I believe that's where we're at.
Yeah, I haven't sat yet.
All right, so we'll do that. Now let's make sure that the teams... I'm just going to reset everything, because small brain can only think one thing at time. All right, so let's get Bab on opposite sides. Let's get Jamie and probably, like... Let's put Airsign and North Star on a team together, and that'll probably balance things out there. We'll put... probably Cookie Dough and Simon, and that should be pretty good, I think. Yeah, I like that. I like that. Here we go. Clan Blitz on Skipper Pavilion. This is a slugfest. This map is very heavily bottlenecked. You either go in the top or the bottom. Those are your 2 options. Literally the only 2 ways into the basket. So if you want to get in, you're probably going to have someone watching that way, and you're going to have to force your way in. Uphill, no less. Both ways.
The snow.
15
I
miles.
think I should say.
Bab, you and Devi just need to, like, be less good. And then I won't have to split you up. Because putting you 2 on a team together, with that that Crapid Jet combo, for example, was brutal.
Yeah.
So, my advice to you 2 would be to suck more.
I want to go through like an off-screen training arc and just come back like in half a year and be excellent for one stream.
For one stream, and then Splatoon 3 happens, and
Yep.
everybody leaves this game.
Yep. Not to learn the whole new game all over again.
Devi protesting by choosing the Squiffer. No. She's not. This is the real world, says Pap. Crap it and C-Jet. Too true, unfortunately. All right. Here we go. Let's see how North Star decides to use this NZAP 89 to make their way to victory. They're throwing the chickens. Let's see what's developing on the top side here. This could get interesting. All right, here comes the fight. Get a couple hits, but they don't commit. Missiles, great option to try and harass that Hydra. Going to make it really difficult. Debbie forced to jump out. Now, do they have the clams? Doesn't look like they do. And they're getting pushed. They have to back up from the
Oh,
sploosh.
jeez. I got pushed around by the curling bomb.
North Star picking up the power clam here, running it backwards. Looks like there's pressure coming in on all sides. North Star deciding to move towards the bottom side. Sees a fight going on between Bab and no longer a fight going on. Bab able to pull out the hammer, deliver some justice. Jump into Bab. Looks like they're going to try and make a push here. They see that the Hydra is watching, but there is a power clam going in the other direction, so they might be able to distract, at the very least, to give that other power clam the time to move in. They are getting pushed by the tent, though. They decide to rotate bottom. Interesting they chose to go this way instead of taking the statue flank. They're able to get that power clam in. And they decide to take the fight with the sploosh. They win it. Great kiting there. Oh, this is probably it, though. One more clam holder left alive for blue team, but they do get one of those two clams in. Looks like they're trying to hold it open as long as they possibly can. They do finally go down. North Star is the last up, or the first up, I guess. Ooh, and they're marked. Fall-off shots coming through. Gonna have to back up from that one. They call it teaching someone a lesson for a reason. Man, School of Hard Knocks. Reminds me of the School of Taj. Mikey will get that one.
Kids go and learn today.
Kids go and learn today. Alright, looks like there's going to be a power clam jump going into that hammer. North Star able to assist with that fight. Gonna go in, try and push the bucket back. Able to successfully do that with the help of their teammates. Great 2-on-1 rush there. And they're able to collapse on the one remaining teammate. So, score does happen, but it's not the end of the world. They haven't lost lead. Oh, goodness. The camera thought that they fell off, and they did not. It's one of those goofy little spectator camera tricks there. Latency can sometimes make it so that the game predicts where you're going to go in the next couple of frames. So, for example, one of the places you'll see it a lot is if someone goes up to a ledge and is kind of hanging over the edge of it, and then all of a sudden teleports back onto the ledge because the game realizes that that person did a control stick input that it hadn't predicted. It thought they were going to fall off, and in fact they didn't.
Roll back.
Yep. All right, this looks like a really solid push coming in from blue team here. Bab leading the charge with that hammer. The tent not able to stop it completely. And, oh, this is going to be huge points. So many clams sitting there right by the basket. They might have enough to KO. They just need to get them in. And it looks like they were able to win the fight. 2 more clams are all they need. They need 1 more. Oh, it's up to North Star. Can North Star get this last one in? They're up against a lot that they have to fight here. I don't think they can do it. They're going to back up and instead choose to play defense. 2 points remaining. Definitely a good position to be in to defend from. Any further down and it's a knockout. Oh, they might just be in position to push their way in and score. They're not going to end the overtime with that because the clam went in before overtime began. But if they score one more clam, that will do it. And there it is, right on cue.
Ugh.
High KA game, a bit of a slugfest there. So many fights going on all over the place. That's kind of what that map ends up being. Alrighty. So Skipper out of the rotation. We're on to Rainmaker now. Gonna rotate
Babs
Mikey.
said that they can spec for this game.
Well, that's perfect because you were going
Oh,
to anyway,
next in
whether you
line.
liked it or not. All right. So let's put, I would say, Devi on the other team here. Well, Airside North Star. Let's put Jamie here. And then I'd say that looks pretty good. All right. So we've recorded a whole bunch of games of North Stars today. And what I'll probably do is just ask them which of those games they would like the tips on, which weapon it is that they would like us to go over for the VOD review. And that's what we'll do next week. Hey, I'm back. What did I miss? So some squids got splatted. People threw some clams in the baskets. And we had a lot of fun.
Like that recap, that was good.
Yeah, A+. Didn't miss any details whatsoever.
Technical issues with the capture card. Oh no, cookie dough.
Ooh. Trying to figure out how to get it working. All right. Well, it's a good thing that those are happening now, weeks before you have to do your VOD review.
True.
So, and let me know if you ever need any tech support with that, because, you know, it's kind of a professional piece of equipment that I've gotten very used to. So, it's part of my job.
You are a professional streamer.
This is true.
Yeah.
I am a professional Squid Gaming streamer.
Professional, you could say.
Professional.
That is also true. That is, in fact, more true than any of the other stuff, because I actually do have that rank in Samurai.
He is a 100% professional squid.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
I am a kid now. I'm a squid now. Pay me money for it.
Embrace your inner squid.
Oh, man. Airsign looking like he wanted to try something sneaky there. Slip behind enemy lines a little bit. Zoom in on North Star here. The next person in line, Sienna Studios for VOD review, or are you going to do 2 in 1? My understanding was that Sienna Studios was afterward, but let me check the schedule now that you bring it up.
I'm out of ink. Great, I love that.
Zacherias. I have Sienna Studios slated for the 8th. So next week is the 1st, and that will be North Star, and then Sienna Studios will be on the 8th. And if
Okay.
I know you happen to know them, Zacharias, so if that is not their impression, then it is good that you've caught that so that we can make sure we're all on the same page there. Oh, unfortunate, the Booyah not able to save the push there. Might be able to pose a little bit of a blockade here and maybe keep the push going. Ooh, someone runs it, the Rainmaker goes down, and now North Star's team gonna have to split. Start trying to kite this sploosh back. It's very hard to hit a sploosh. Not only
Oh.
because of the weapon being fast, but also the aim RNG on the 52 gal. Able to get a trade back there, but yellow team still in control with Devi in a power position. We'll see if they're able to push around this elbow and get the lead. Ooh, and 3 go down. They get a lot closer, but close doesn't matter in Rainmaker. There is no checkpointing system. It's all about hitting that high water mark, and yellow team did not manage to do it there. Oh, you thought the 8th was in 1 week. Gotcha.
Time flies.
But not
Okay.
that fast.
Okay, time drags.
All right. North Star looking like they're going to try and push ahead, maybe give the Rainmaker somewhere to go. Having to back up here, seeing that their team is being dropped on. We'll see what they decide to do about it. Ooh. They have to be really careful around the Hydra's position here. They do not have the range to contest them where they're at. So Devi can kind of just hold that. Oh, no! They drop down right in front of the sploosh, not where they ever want to be.
Oh. The Rainmaker radius is always bigger than I think it's going to be.
All right, there's another stop. This is looking good for blue team right now. We've got 2 members of yellow team down. They're marked. They're going to use this Booyah to try and take the Hydra out, but the Hydra can solo shred a Booyah bomb off of a single full charge.
Oop.
So the Booyah going to get taken out there. Yellow team going to probably have one more chance here. It's a question of whether blue team can get the pick on them. If they pick up the Rainmaker right now and get picked, that will be the game. Oh, and it looks like it might happen here. North Star in great position to do it, and they do take out the Rainmaker and stop that push. Bab says, Mikey, sad face. And Devi
Right.
says, Mikey, I spammed this way to you. No.
Oh my gosh, Jamie.
Jamie popping off, absolutely.
Right?
All right. That is going to do it for us for today. We went on a little bit longer than we usually do. Normally, we would be done 45 minutes ago. But because of an event that went a little bit longer than we had anticipated, we ended up starting a little bit on the late side. So I made sure it went out to the full 2 hours. But that is going to do it. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. We really appreciate having all of you here, whether you came from the YouTube, whether you were just browsing Twitch or what have you. For those who don't know, there is a YouTube channel that we make that has a lot of resources for improving at Splatoon 2. The how to get out of ranked videos especially have been very popular, and I'm happy to hear that so many people have been helped by them. So if you are interested in checking those out, definitely give that a look. I am Jem, and this is Bravous Esports, and we are going to be signing off for today. Thanks for watching.
Bye.